Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Joseph Mbele. I have introduced myself many times, and still I just want to say I'm a Tanzanian. I teach here at St. Olaf College in Northfield, Minnesota. I have this YouTube channel, and I am speaking as an individual, even though I introduce myself as affiliated to St. Olaf College. I do not speak for St. Olaf College. This is my own voice, and I am free to explore issues and state my views. Today, I want to go back to a topic that has preoccupied me for quite a while. I should say several years. And I've made several videos. It's a topic that's close to my heart at this point, and that is the migration of African Americans to Africa, the movement of African Americans to Africa. They are going out of the USA and going to settle in Africa. They go to countries like Gambia, Senegal, Ghana, Rwanda, Tanzania, South Africa, Uganda, and so on. And one of the main reasons is that they are returning to their homeland, and there is a sense among them, or maybe many of them, that they have the right to return to Africa because they were taken out of there as slaves, or they were taken and then enslaved here in the USA, in the Americas in general, and it was all against their will. And so they have a right to return. There's that argument. And I would like to address that argument a little bit. I have supported that argument in my previous videos. Let me get this very straight. I have supported this argument fully. You can hear me speak. And it's only today, I would say, that I've begun to have thoughts, second thoughts about this argument. And I think it's important for us to always be thinking. We have ideas, we have convictions, but we should not rest. We should be willing always to question our thoughts, to question our convictions. It seems like common sense that these African Americans who say they're returning to their homeland, they have a right to return. It seems they're making perfect sense. And it's common sense, actually, when you think about it. But then we need to keep in mind that common sense itself should be subject to scrutiny. There have been many instances in history where common sense, was challenged, and then the people who did the challenging got into trouble. Examples include Galileo. There was common sense that the sun revolves around the earth, and everybody could see that. Everybody could see that. So when Galileo, and there was somebody else before Galileo, I forget his name, spoke, and articulated the view that it was the earth that was moving around the sun, that was considered a kind of insanity. but now we know Galileo was right. So let's think a little bit about this whole question of the right to return to Africa that African Americans, or some African Americans, are, claiming. Let me again say, I have supported this argument all along. You can listen to my videos. I have supported this argument. But now I'm beginning to have second thoughts. First, it's only some African Americans who are making this claim. Only some African Americans who are arguing this way and returning to Africa or wanting to return to Africa. Many of them don't even want the idea of going back to Africa. They are happy to be Americans. They proclaim their loyalty to this country, the USA. They're proud to be Americans. And some of them actually don't even think Africa is such a good place for them. And so there's this viewpoint as well. And the question is, why should we keep quiet and listen only to those people, those African Americans who say they have a right to return to Africa? I think they do, but I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. Because if I accept that principle, then theoretically, most of us in the world, could make the same claim. There are many people in my country, Tanzania, and in Zambia, and in Malawi, in Zimbabwe, Mozambique, so many places in Southern Africa, who would then claim the right to return to South Africa. They were pushed out of there by King Shaka. King Shaka, he was a very great military figure, and he was ruthless. He was expanding the Zulu kingdom by force, killed many people. He became a terrible, terrible dictator, bloodthirsty, to the point where he was killed by his own brothers. People hated him in the end, and so thousands and thousands of people ran away from his campaigns, his bloody campaigns. And some of them are in my country, as I say. They were forced out of there, out of South Africa, against their will. Should we all say we now want to go to South Africa? It's our right to be in South Africa. And given that South Africa is now very rich economically and all these kinds of ways, the benefits of going there would be huge. Do we have a right to return to South Africa? Should we push that argument and force, the South African government to accept us there? I don't think so. I don't think so. Things of the past are things of the past. And this applies to even this issue of Israel. The Jews, they have been claiming, and I think most of us have thought they had a right to make this claim, that they were scattered all over the world, they were persecuted in different parts of the world, and they have a right to return to Israel. They have these ancient stories about the promised land. This has been the argument, and I guess most of us, or many of us, have accepted it. But what I'm trying to say today is whether that argument is right, whether it cannot be challenged. When the Zionists set in Europe, beginning this movement on behalf of the Jewish people, they explored the idea of establishing a Jewish homeland in East Africa. I think the place was Uganda. Yes, it was a serious proposal. In other words, the Jewish state today could have been in East Africa. This is something people are not saying much, but do your research. Do your research and you'll find this. So it was not really inevitable that the Jewish state would be in Palestine. It was not inevitable. I know this is not going to be well received by some people, but again, common sense is common sense, and we shouldn't be afraid of challenging common sense. These are intellectual discussions, and there should be freedom of thought, freedom of expression. Tomorrow I could come up with a totally different view, but today I'm really, really concerned about challenging my own beliefs that I've articulated, in these many videos. So back to the question of African Americans. Yes, you have them claiming the right to return to Africa, and thousands have been going. And the interesting thing is, some of them, they go to Africa, they try to establish themselves there, they experience a lot of challenges, and some have actually returned to the USA or are returning to the USA. Maybe not too many, but some of them. And so if the initial claim that Africa is their homeland, they have a right to be there, is truly, truly valid and incontestable, why would anybody return to the USA? Those are questions to be asked. And again, we need to be able to think about these questions and articulate our views and do so respectfully and sincerely. So I also said in a video maybe a week ago that I'm beginning to see a lot of problems in my initial convictions about this whole question of African Americans going to Africa. I am beginning to see a lot of problems in my thinking, in my beliefs, and I think one of the videos I made said things along these lines, and the title was the complexity of the issue of African Americans moving to Africa, something like that. So my little video today is simply showing again how my mind is working and how troubling some of the ideas that I've held to be very true and very clear and incontestable. So that's where I am today, and I'll keep thinking, and I invite you to keep thinking with me. It's not easy to talk about these things, but we have to talk about them. So that's it for today. Welcome again to my channel. Keep checking. For today, I'll wish you all the best.